Hey, this is Eric Copeland with Make Music Income, and you are listening to the Business Side of Music podcast with Bob Bender.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Can we get serious now?
One thing that did happen during the 60s was some music of an unusual or experimental nature did get recorded and did get released. Now look at who the executives were in those companies at those times. Not hip young guys. These were cigar-chomping old guys who looked at the product that came and said, I don't know. Who knows what it is? Record it, stick it out. If it sells, all right. We were better off with those guys than we are now with the supposedly hip young executives who are making the decisions of what people should see and hear in the marketplace.
Success in the music business begins with a dream, a vision. This podcast will give you, the listener, the insight and tools to turn that vision into a reality. Meet the industry professionals who work day by day behind the scenes, helping to make those dreams come true. Welcome to the Business Side of Music.
In the studio today, sitting across the podcast table here at Music Dog Studios, Nashville, Tennessee, Jacob Biz Morris is joining us. He's a multi-platinum and Grammy Award-winning mixing engineer who is celebrated for his extraordinary contributions to the music industry, having crafted a legacy that resonates with both artists and music enthusiasts alike. For the last decade, Biz has represented independent Atlanta hip-hop label Reach Records as vice president and head of the studio. Among his notable accomplishments includes his stellar work on David Kushner's global chart-topping hit, Daylight. Jacob is now embarked on an exciting new chapter in his career by launching Get Mixed. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
A cutting-edge company aimed at providing top-tier mixing and mastering services for the independent artist at an affordable price. We always like to hear that. Biz, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How did you get started? It's a question we always ask our guests during the show. How did you get started in the music business?
Yeah, that's a good question. I got started pretty young. I had a recording studio in my mom's house that I had friends who were in the music industry. They noticed it and came over and recorded, and I slowly said, oh, I need to charge you for this. so I started charging, and then one thing led to another. I'm really good with people, and I love people and have connections. So that grew into to give me jobs in other studios, engineering, and I went to audio school right out of high school, and that helped me learn a little bit more.
I was going to ask you, when you got started in the business, did you have any engineering background?
I didn't. I was all self-taught.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So by the time I was like 15, I had an HD rig, Pro Tools HD rig at my mom's house. So I was really, I love tech. I've always loved tech. And I love recording, so I just figured it out when I was young.
On your own?
On my own.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so you got in the studio, you started engineering, and one of the things that we don't see a lot of these days is someone such as yourself who's not only a multi-platinum engineer, but also a Grammy Award-winning one.
Sure, yeah. Was
that a big surprise for you?
Yeah, it took me a long time to embrace it. I don't like showing credits. I feel like super prideful saying it, but yeah, looking back, it's like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I got nominated on an album that I worked on while I was in audio school. So I was with teachers who have all these credits, and they're teaching me, and the Grammys is about to happen. I'm nominated on an album that I worked on. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So you got your start in audio production at an early age.
Yeah.
What has been that journey that you took to really kind of get to that Grammy Award-winning level?
The journey, I think it's consistency on learning and being open to new ideas and changing methods. The journey is just like, sticking with people who I started with. I've been with the same people since I was 13, 14.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm still with Reach Records, and Lecrae, Tadashi, Tripoli is who I started with. They would come to my mom's house and record, and now they're the reason why I think I'm still here too.
So, for a lack of better words, were these like kids in the neighborhood?
They weren't kids in the neighborhood. It was kind of weird that Tadashi was coming over to we joke about it now, but Yes, he was coming over to a teenager's house to record.
Yeah, because I've done
Right.
some stuff with Tadashi on Twitter.
Oh yeah, okay.
And we've done some workshops and symposiums, and he's no slouch.
No, Tadashi was my best man. Like me and him are really close. So he would come over to my mom's house and record, and it'd be late nights. And I'm like, I'm a teen. Looking back, I'm like, I would never. Mom, why did you let this happen? Why would you? But I'm glad she did, because it worked.
How did they find you?
We had a mutual friend who was in. That's one of the friends I used to. I started off recording. He met them, and they were he was the middle guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you look back at your history of engineering, are there some favorite tracks that kind of stand out on the projects you've worked on? And why do those stand out more than others?
Favorite tracks? Man, that's hard. We talk about that often, right? I think favorite tracks, probably the older stuff, especially for the hip-hop, the Tadashi stuff. That I think a song called Go Hard from Tadashi and Lecrae. I remember it's a big song still now today, and I remember being like, oh, I found that on a hard drive from 2005. That song impacted a lot of people, and I think this year has been a really, really crazy year with the David Kushner stuff popping off.
Yeah,
we landed that, and that's probably David's probably one of my new favorite artists to work with right now.
Were you a musician before all this started?
Mm-hmm.
You were just that tech guy.
The tech guy.
What were your musical influences growing up? What inspired you?
Yeah, 50 Cent, Get Rich, Die Trying.
Really?
That's my, yeah, it's my favorite, one of my favorite albums.
To this day.
To this day. That got me loving hip hop, and then loving, I wanted to dive in and figure out how it was made, and learned that engineering was a thing.
Did you discover how to dissect as you learned how to engineer and be able to take the components of a song apart and put them back together?
Yeah, I think being self-taught, that's how you do it. You listen to songs, pick them apart, figure out how to make what they did.
Yeah,
remake it.
When you first started engineering,
mm-hmm.
and obviously that was a trial by fire,
sure,
so to speak. Did you find things that almost immediately clicked, or did it take you a while to figure, especially when you're talking about Pro Tools?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, anybody that listens to the show that has worked on Pro Tools, it's a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
I
started with Pro Tools.
Yeah.
So I started with the hard DAW, and I love it.
When you started working with Pro Tools, though, I mean,
mm-hmm.
you just opened it up and just figured out. Did you have any kind of instruction manuals or books or, online tutorials or anything?
No, it was 2003, 2004. There wasn't that much. No, I think I just started messing around. And as I went to audio school, I really learned the back end of the software and reconstructed how I used it. But no, self-taught. Pro Tools too.
Yeah.
It's a lot I didn't know back then that I know today.
When you got hooked up with Reach Records, how did that come about?
Yeah, that same mutual friend connected me back in 2005 or 6, and
once again, you had no experience from a label perspective, did you?
No, but they were all starting off. It was a very small, organic group of guys that was doing music, and Tadashi was the main one that I would work with.
Yeah.
He would come over and work with me.
Did you realize at that point that this was going to be the career path you were going to take?
No, I was still in high school, and I thought I was going to go to audio school and go work on movie stuff.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I moved out to Phoenix, went to the Conservatory of Recording Arts. I thought I was going to go to LA. I wanted to do Foley, ADR, and I decided I wasn't going to do that. I was going to move back to Dallas after I graduated, and that was right at the time when some of the guys were popping off, and I had a chance to just start DJing for Tadashi and traveling. So I just didn't move to LA, do movie stuff. I moved back to Dallas and continued doing what I was doing before. Yeah,
because the movie industry in so many aspects is so different than the music business.
So different.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Was there something that made you decide to take the path that you've taken instead of going into the film industry?
I thought I was chasing something that was going to be unhealthy for me at the time. I was 19 or 20, moving to LA. It's just, that industry is just not a safe. If you don't have your head on straight, you can get sucked in.
Right.
It's very dark. It's just like the music industry too, but
it's interesting that a 19-year-old kid, for lack of better terms,
sure,
actually had that thought process going.
Yeah, I think it was probably, I was scared I was definitely going to go down the wrong path.
And
I
you
knew,
caught yourself in time.
I caught myself, I had the apartment picked out. Yeah, I was.
Wow.
Yeah. And I would move back to Dallas and I got connected with some studios out there, and I got to work on a lot of fun, especially in the Christian side, like Kirk Franklin, gospel, and then Shane and Shane. I worked with them for years. So, yeah, I'm glad I moved back to Dallas.
Yeah. And Kirk Franklin, to me, is one of my favorite gospel artists out there. He's definitely set the trend for many other artists.
Yeah, I worked with him then. I worked with him on his last album. So it's just fun. The history just keeps going.
We're going to take a break, get a word in for a couple of our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to have some more conversation with Jacob Biz Morris.
You're listening to the business side of music.
Hi, everyone. I'm Larry Butler, and I want to send you a free digital copy of my new book, The Singer-Songwriter Rulebook, 101 Ways to Help You Improve Your Chances of Success. That's right. Everything you need to know to launch your career as a singer-songwriter, all based on my 40 years in the live performance arena. And believe me, I've seen it all. In my book, you'll find the 10 things you have to deal with before even thinking about becoming a singer-songwriter performer. You'll also learn about the 5 things every singer-songwriter can do this weekend to make their live show better. 5 things I can guarantee that you are not doing already. Plus, there's tips on songwriting and staging, photo and video shoots, publishing, merch, dozens of other topics. All written for people who don't particularly like to read. And again, it's free. Just go to the Business Side of Music website homepage and look for my book cover. Click on it, and a free digital copy of my book will be yours. I'm Larry Butler, and I approve of this message. Thanks.
Since 1963, Korg has been creating new experiences in music and performance. That is what drove the creation of some of Korg's most legendary products, such as the Poly 6, the M1, the Electribe, the Triton, the Minilog, the Kronos, Wave State, Op 6, and most recently the Nautilus, which is what we have here in our studio. Korg is dedicated to creating new, innovative, and uncompromising instruments which maintain the highest quality to inspire music makers, past, present, and future. Visit Korg.com or your favorite Korg dealer to get your hands on one of their products and start creating new music always. Korg, the official sponsor of the business side of music.
You're listening to the business side of music.
Back in the studio here in Nashville, Tennessee, Music Dog Studios. For those that don't know why we call it Music Dog Studios, Biz is finding out because the Music Dog himself, Buddy, the Music Dog, is sitting at your feet.
Yeah.
Or pacing about.
Around here somewhere, yeah.
We're a dog-friendly studio.
That's great.
When we talk about what you've accomplished, one of the new things that has now come out has been this new, I guess, is it a software program or is it an app?
Website, yeah.
Yeah, which is Get Mixed.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
Let's go.
How did that get created? What got that started?
Yeah, I've been mixing and engineering for years. And, at the time I launched it, I realized that I worked with a lot of record labels and they with budgets for their artists. And then I have a lot of independent friends, and I realized there was a gap, and a lot of independent artists don't have the funds to get high quality mixes.
Right.
Well, I do high quality mixes. I still have all the label clients. And so I decided, let's build a platform that independent artists can come order a mix, upload their files to a dashboard that we created, an account that they can have. We could download them and mix them. And it's just streamlining the process to create an affordable mix at a high quality, have a high quality mix at an affordable price. So we created a website, created the user to allow the user to create an account, and they can order a mix, upload their files, we mix it. They can give revision notes right in their dashboard and make it a really easy step-by-step process for the artist. And it's worked. It's like we can provide really good mixes for these independent artists.
What I've discovered over the years, and especially in the podcasting world, is sometimes quality takes kind of a secondary place versus just quantity, getting something out there.
Yeah.
Has that been a battle for you?
Do you mean by the artist caring about the quality?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the artists don't understand I don't think it's the. I think it's the learning that the
I was
art
going to say, do you think it's maybe just
educational.
Yeah.
It's just, we have to educate the artist that quality really does matter. If your song is getting played and it doesn't sound good next to a song that sounds amazing, the skip rate's going to be there. People are going to skip your song, and the playlist may not playlist you. And so if you can have the high quality mixes and masters, and the song is good, you're right there. You're right. You're sitting at the table, and hopefully you get playlisted. There's a lot more chances for you to have a successful career if you care about quality.
When you talk to these clients that submit the music, is this something that's cost affordable for them compared to maybe going into a studio and getting it done?
Yeah, we start mixes at like $300.
Okay,
that's very cheap.
Yeah.
Now
considering some engineers will charge $50 or $100 an hour just to do the mix.
Yeah, you can have you could go pay what you're paying for with mixes could easily cost you thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But the way that we figured it out was we just have a streamlined process. Like, when you upload your files, someone's going to clean them up and prep them. We're going to mix them and upload it back to you. We don't have to have the conversation. You don't have to come in the studio, and you save money, and you still keep the high quality.
Do they give any input when they send you these files of this is what we're looking for?
They can text us or email us.
Yeah.
Normally we have. I mean,
how many pass-throughs do you go through as you're mixing for them to listen to?
How many revisions do I allow them?
Yeah.
As many as they want.
Really?
Yeah, they get one per mix, but they can pay for more.
Wow.
It's their art. I want them to be in control.
And I was going to say, a lot of artists these days maybe sometimes have a hard time understanding that they're in control. It is it's their craft.
It's their art.
Yeah.
My job is not to change the songs to your sound. My job is to take what you give us and just make it better.
Yeah.
Glue it together, make it where it sounds like it should fit on a Spotify playlist.
At the same time you're doing that, is the educational process with those artists, is that going on? Or are you finding you have to educate them sometimes?
Sometimes I have to educate them on how to send sessions or how to send files correctly. Sometimes we have people that don't know what they're doing when they're uploading files. This is like their first song, and they just send us their whole audio folder. And that's just not what we need. We need different stuff. So yeah, we educate them in the way.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out ways to, we're learning on how do we create content to help people succeed.
And I would say this is probably, as you're developing this Get Mixed platform, you're probably going through some metamorphosis and making revisions and changes yourself.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Every day we're talking like, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? What can we be doing better? And just trying to help the artist in the long run.
When we talk about the independent artists, so the grassroots artists, have there been some historic barriers that have kind of been in the way in the past with those artists maybe not really understanding how the production or its value works, the services work?
Yeah, I think the issue with the independent or grassroots artists, I think that just the funding isn't there. They don't understand how much stuff really costs for quality, and I think that's why. It's educating them on stuff really costs X amount of dollars, or this is what Sony Records is paying for something.
Yeah. And if you want something at that same level, there's still going to be a little bit of financing involved in to get to that level.
Yeah.
But you're still not talking the same numbers as say a Sony or Warner Brothers or any of those.
No.
Yeah.
And we're doing both. That's the thing. We're doing both. We're doing record label stuff and we're doing independent artist stuff, and the quality is not different.
I was going to say it stays the same.
Stays the same.
Why is it, do you think, is it important for the DIY artist more than anybody else to have access to affordable, this type of mixing and mastering service?
Yeah, I think it's important for the independent artists to have this access so that they're playing. It's the same, so they're on the same playing field. It's like the whole Atmos thing. When Atmos came out,
right,
the only people doing Atmos were who? Major label artists.
And the major studios.
Well, who was paying for it was the major labels. And it's because they're the ones who had the money. So the independent artists got left behind on all these playlists, on all these DSP platforms, because they didn't have the money to pay for getting their stuff done in Atmos.
Right.
And so I think it's important for someone like Mix to be there to give them an Atmos option that's not label prices.
Yeah.
We do affordable Atmos mixing. That's the same quality. And now you're on the same playlist as all these other artists.
Let's talk about the artist getting started with Get Mixed. Do you send them a list of what they need to provide to you?
That's a good question. When they order, when they're uploading, it's told, like they get told on what they need. They need stems, they need a reference.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just take a session from an artist.
Yeah.
We're definitely there to help answer any questions. We have a chat we have chat on the site. They can chat with us. They can email. We're really responsible in that. We're there to like hold their hand through the way, because it can be a scary process. It's their art. It's their baby that they're letting us work on. So it's scary sometimes. No, we're there to hold their hands. Let them know it'll be okay.
Yeah, because I'm going to say a lot of artists these days, we've had this conversation in other shows. They're somewhat of a closet introvert.
Yeah.
And don't really want to break out in an extrovert type of way.
Yeah, no.
To say this is what I want.
Yeah, they don't want anyone speaking in, especially nowadays is way worse, because they can sit at their desk with their interface and make a song and print it and upload it to DistroKid and put it out.
Yeah.
No one has to be involved with them.
But doesn't something get lost in that process?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. And what is that?
Other people's insight on your art to help you make it better. I think letting people in to the process helps art be better.
We're going to take another break, get another word in for a couple more of our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to have some more conversation with Jacob Biz Morris.
You're listening to the business side of music.
It may have been Tammy Wynette who sang Stand By Your Man, but it was actually Nancy Jones who stood by the legendary George Jones for more than 30 years and helped bring him to the light. Now in her new book, Playin' Possum, readers get an intimate look at the country music legend through the eyes of his wife and partner. Nancy knew George Jones better than anyone. The good and the bad, the horrendous and the hilarious. Married in 1983, George quit his wild and wicked ways for a while, but Nancy learned all too soon that there were demons holding a strong grip on the man she loved. People who knew the possum credit Nancy's tenacious love, faith, and encouragement for saving George's life and rebuilding his career. For the first time in Playin' Possum, Nancy Jones reveals the true insider perspective and little-known stories about the country music legend, his battles with cocaine, alcohol, abusive behavior, battles with himself, and against the demons that sought to control and destroy him. Read the compelling first-hand account from the woman who refused to give up on George Jones. Playin' Possum is available now. Order your copy today from nancyjonesbooks.com, Amazon, and more.
Whether you consider yourself a musician or not, music is all around us, and it affects our everyday lives. Whether it's background music influencing our shopping habits in a store, organ music adding the vibe to a baseball game, or a playlist convincing us to keep going on that last mile of a run. I'm Mindy Peterson, host of the podcast Enhance Life with Music, where we take a holistic look at music's benefits through the lens of science and medicine, entertainment, and business. You can find me and Enhance Life with Music at mpetersonmusic.com/podcast or wherever you get your audio.
You're listening to the business side of music.
Back in the studio with Biz himself, Jacob Biz Morris here in Nashville, Tennessee. We're talking about a new program that they have created to help, especially the independent artists, called Get Mixed, and we'll have him share that information and how they can find it. But one question I want to ask you is, as you've learned throughout your career in music, what advice would you give to someone who's starting out as an audio engineer? Because obviously, back in the days when I was working Pro Tools, it was Pro Tools 9.
Yeah.
And it was rather simplistic compared to what it is today.
Yeah.
And it is a different world in the studio. Well, what advice would you give someone who says, "Hey, Biz, I want to do what you do. I want to become an engineer."
Yeah.
What would you tell them to do or not to do?
Yeah, I think what's getting lost in today's, because it's so easy to record now. You can go to Sweetwater, buy an interface, buy a mic, have your friend come over and record. You can go put a plugin on, hit a preset, and then print it, and it sounds okay.
Yeah, but that's just it. It just sounds okay.
It sounds okay. I think it's so easy nowadays. And so I would encourage people to really find someone that they look up to and go ask if they can mentor you, and go sit under someone and learn how to properly mix, how to set up a session, how to record, why this microphone's good for this artist, and really learn. I think schooling is good for some, but if you know, or if you have connections to an engineer, or you have connections to a studio, go sit under them and learn for real.
That journeyman of learning a craft from someone else's book knowledge is good, but actually having your hands on the console makes all the difference.
Yeah, I think YouTube is. I just think YouTube is the same as just how easy it is to go by interface. YouTube is the same. You can Google and watch YouTube videos on how to enable Pro Tools to record, and I think we're losing something in the process. I think the art of engineering is being devalued.
Because one of the things I look at when we listen to music is it's an intimate moment that you're sharing.
Yeah.
As the artist, you're sharing this with the listeners, and you want them to get involved. You want them to get intimate with the music. And engineering and mastering really helps transcend that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the new engineers that are coming, if they can find someone that they trust, they look up to, and go look at the credits. There's credits out there. Go look and email or DM an engineer and see if they answer. And yeah.
And I think that's also, we've actually had this conversation on another episode. That's a lost art, which are the credits. Trying to find the people that worked on these projects.
There's stuff there. Go to allmusic.com. If you have Tidal, even though a lot of people don't have Tidal, Tidal shows engineer credits. Hopefully Spotify adds it. They just added some credits, but they haven't added engineering credits. But there's ways that you can see it, that you can see credits. I encourage these engineers who want to be full-time engineers to go find credits and go contact these people that you look up to.
How can people find out about your program?
Yeah, we're on Instagram at getmxd, or go to getmixed.com, getmxd.com.
And that's the website.
That's the website.
And then hopefully the general information to get started is on there?
Yep, everything's there. It's clear. If it's not, message us, email us, support@getmixed, or just message us on the site. I'll respond. Connor will respond. Someone will respond.
Very cool. We're going to give a shout out to our loyal listeners here. Without you, we wouldn't be one of the most listened to music industry interview podcasts in the world, including achieving #1 status in many countries around the world, according to Apple Podcasts. If you enjoy our show, please check out our Facebook page at the Business Side of Music Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and definitely hit the like button. While you're at it, go to our page on YouTube and click on the Business Side of Music Podcast to subscribe. You can check out our webcasts on there and get to see me and our guest, such as Biz here across the studio, along with Buddy the Music Dog, who probably gets more credit than he should. Last but not least, check out and follow us on Twitter at Biz Music Podcast. Biz, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
We'll have to get you back again. I'd like to know how this program progresses.
Oh, awesome. I would look forward to it.
The Business Side of Music is the creation of Tom Sabella and Tracy Snow and is produced by Bob Bender. The Business Side of Music is recorded at Music Dog Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Production sound designed by Keith Stark. Voiceover and promo by Lisa Fuson.